Today we're going to go over the worst 10 albums of the year. My personal worst 10. So to preface this just a little bit, I want to say that these aren't like what I really perceive to be the true worst, I guess, because I really don't like bother myself and waste my time too much listening to what I consider to be bad, I guess. A little bit. So it's kind of a mixture. So some of these I genuinely feel like are bad, and I will say that as such. Some I just, couldn't really get behind. A lot of it is like I was anticipating it to be good or heard a lot of good things about it, and it was just kind of disappointing and fell flat for me. So I just want to preface that I'm not saying that these are horrible, absolute trash or anything like that. So just bear with me, okay? And it's also in no particular order. It's actually like I think it's alphabetical. So nothing's like the absolute bottom or anything. So first one is Afterlife by Yeet. It was recommended to me by a person in real life actually, and I just couldn't get behind it. It was too muffled and distorted, and the vocals just weren't very pleasant to listen to. There were definitely some ups about it, just not enough consistent ups for me to enjoy pretty much any one song in itself. So that's how I would chalk that down. I don't know if it's Yeet overall. I don't think I've listened to enough of him to really say that, but this particular album, I just couldn't get through it without, feeling like I had to, you know what I mean? It felt like a task. Next is Charged Up by Ronnie J. I actually did a like minute and a half album review for this one, which I don't know how long that's going to ultimately stay up on my channel, so watch it while you can. But I didn't like it at all. This is one that I think is actually just straight up bad. And maybe that's mean, but the beats were horrible. Ronnie J is a producer, so like he should be pretty on top of it when it comes to the beat selection and everything. Like he's had some really good beats for other people. And then I listened to this album and it's like this is your worst work in my eyes. Like from the production I've heard you do to this is some of the worst production you've ever given me. And I don't know. There was not many pleasant things about it. The most pleasant thing was having XXX Tentacion, and even that was kind of a letdown. So yikes. Cool album cover though. I'll give him that. It was a pretty cool album cover. Next I have Cottonwood 2 by NLE Choppa. This album I might get some hate for this one, but just honestly, it again, kind of like with Yeet, I think I just might not like NLE Choppa. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but this record was extremely difficult to get through, and it made it worse and worse that there's like 9 versions of it. So every time I opened my freaking release radar on Spotify, it was like another Cottonwood version. It's like, dude, I don't need to keep listening to this record that I already didn't really like. So that made the list for the sheer just annoyance of how many times I kept going back to look at it, thinking I might find something pleasant about it. But, shout out to NLE Choppa because I think he's actually a pretty cool dude from what I've seen. And some songs that I've heard him on, I don't mind him. So I don't know. That was a weird one, and I kind of feel bad for bashing it, but like, goddamn, bro, stop. Release it as in one project and then make another one. Next, I have Almost Healed Deluxe. As you guys know, I fucking love Almost Healed. I love Lil Durk. I thought that was a great, great album. But Almost Healed Deluxe, just the deluxe, because it doesn't exist. And I'm mad about it. And it might not ever exist. So that one's more of a joke, but what the hell. Next, I have For All the Dogs by Drake, and you could include the Scary Hours edition, 3 edition on that if you want. I did not like the record, and I'm not saying that even just to be mean either. I don't like Drake, as everyone knows, and I genuinely listened to this one. I started, listen to it start to finish. I still just can't wrap my head around it. I don't understand why people like Drake. I just don't get the appeal. Doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. I will shout out and praise First Person Shooter. Even Drake's part on that was actually pretty good. The music video was solid. The J. Cole's verse was insane. So I don't know. I'll praise that one for what it was, but beyond that, For All the Dogs is easily one of the worst albums of the year, for sure. Next, I have A Great Chaos by Ken Carson. And this is one that I again, wouldn't say is like just so bad that it makes it the worst, but it was one that I, again, kept hearing things. I'll be honest a little bit about this one too, that it kind of seemed like a split thing. Like half of the internet was talking about how bad it was, and the other half was talking about how good it was, which, I mean, that's kind of with a lot of things, but still, it was very a lot with that one. And I went in thinking, maybe it was going to be something profound or something, but it was very mid. It was not profound. It wasn't like horrible, but I don't know. Like, there was nothing significant or stand out about it. I could have done without that during the year. I don't know. Shout out to King Carson. Sorry, bro, but didn't like your album this year. Next is Help Is on the Way by Scory. And, this album for some people might be pretty solid. This might end up being like a good record for some of you, especially if you don't know the other artist that I'm about to mention. But I found Scory through Polo G, and I can't look past that he's basically just a Polo G mirror. Like, he's a complete rip off, exact replica. Like, I think he's signed to Polo G, so it's not like he's, you know, cheating him out or anything. They're doing it knowingly, which I think is almost worse. But Scory, I feel like there probably is some songs on there that maybe if I stepped out of that mindset and I tried really hard and I managed to do that I'd end up liking them. But it's so difficult to look past the fact that he's just the Wish Polo G, like, through and through. It's really, really bad. So it's hard. I didn't like that record for basically that sole reason. I'd rather listen to Polo G. It felt weird listening to Scory. I did listen to that whole record, and I can't do it, dude. It was not a pleasant experience, having had the love and respect for Polo G's music, and then listening to that. It was just like, what the hell is this? Like, I don't know. But next I have How Do You Sleep at Night by Tizo Touchdown. And, I actually added this one so that I could explain myself and kind of apologize to Tizo, because I ended up going back to the record a handful of times, and I like it a lot more than I originally did. Another one that I gave an album review to was this one. So I only have a couple bad reviews on my channel, and Ronnie J was one of them, and Tizo is the other. And I honestly don't feel good about it. I don't know if that one will stay up very long either. I kind of explained myself a little bit more than I did on the Ronnie J one. That one I kind of was just an asshole and then moved on. But the Tizo one, I feel like I've just 180'd on my opinion. I think that the music is actually good. So this one shouldn't be in this list, is what I'm trying to say. This is not one of the worst ones, but I added it because I have already said that it was this year. I didn't like it. I stated that, and now I do. I do like it. There's actually only a couple songs on there that I don't like. So I'm only adding that to the list so I can retract it. So it is not one of the worst albums of the year. Next, I have Tusi. I actually don't know how to pronounce it. Naujour. I don't know. But Tusi's album. And this one actually isn't bad by any means. So if it was like a real absolute the worst of the worst albums list, this shouldn't be in the conversation. But I added it because there's a couple songs that I really, really enjoyed. But majority of it was extremely underwhelming, I would say. And it was kind of just a disappointment. I thought, based on the couple songs that I did like, that I would get more from the record, and that's kind of just the main thing. So I just feel like the one song, favorite song, something like that, the big hit, the big TikTok smash hit from this year from Tusi, is a very good song. Actually, I liked it, and it really didn't get much more of anything remotely close to that caliber from the rest of the record. So I don't know. But don't worry, because this one's really going to upset some of you. The last one, so, final worst album of the year. It's another one that I would like to preface before even saying it, because I don't. I just want everyone to understand that this is not an album that I genuinely feel like is bad. This is an album that I had a certain level of anticipation or expectation for, and was just pretty let down, surprisingly let down, actually. And I almost don't want to be let down. Like, I feel like I'm missing out on something that I just don't get. So I've gone back to it several times to try. Even before I put it in the list here, I went back to it another time, thinking like, let's give one last Hail Mary to see if I can justify not putting it in this conversation. And that is Scaring the Hose by JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown. I just feel like the production is very messy. I feel like the vocals and the mix on that is not very good. It's very difficult to listen to enjoy, to engage in. Like, there comes a level of activity sonically that you can't actually enjoy. Like, maybe I'm not at such a heightened level of listening ability that I can't take in everything happening, but I don't know. It's just something that I somewhat grasp the idea behind, and like the vision behind it, and I appreciate it for what it seemingly was trying to execute, but I just don't think that landed. It didn't work for me. Like I said, I didn't enjoy it. It was not an enjoyable listen any one of the 5-6 times that I've gone into that record and tried to really breathe it in. So, but like I said, guys, no hate to really any of these records. There's only a couple, or maybe one that I really thought was just absolute shit. Maybe a couple. Drake, you guys watched it. Like I said, there some of them I just felt like I wanted more from, and some that were just kind of disappointing. So that's my list. Those are my top 10 worst albums of 2023. So yeah, it's been a great year. Don't forget to leave a like and a comment. I have several more end of the year videos that I'm getting through here. I have a bunch of lists that I've gotten together here. So like, subscribe, and be on the lookout for those. So thank you guys for being here, and Happy New Year.